Dr. Rick here. I want to explain to you the things that your doctors have failed to explain to you about your chronic diseases. And they make it so complicated, but it's really not complicated. We are made up of millions and trillions of cells in our bodies. And cells only like natural things. And if they don't get natural things, things like factory foods, things like from the medicine cabinet, which are mostly made from the petroleum industry, your cells can't recognize it. And so when they don't recognize something, what do? Your immune cells start attacking it. They start attacking it. And what happens after the attacking process starts? Our cells start to swell up. That's when they are basically hurt. They're injured. And then when they're swollen like that, and if this swelling doesn't decrease because those substances still remain, or they still keep entering your body, like, for example, these foreign substances still enter your body, they, after a period of time, may take decades, the swelling becomes so bad that it can no longer function as a normal cell. And so what happens? Many things. There's pain because of the attack of our immune system, pain in the joints, pain in the muscles, or organ dysfunction starts. So that equates to, like, for example, decreased kidney output. That equates to decreased heart function. That equates to stomach problems as well, migraines as well. And so the trick is just to basically put natural, wholesome things into your body. And how do you do that? You know, well, factory foods from this local supermarket ain't going to cut it. What you gotta do is go back to the basics and live like the way our ancestors used to live, in a more natural, wholesome way. For example, did you know, and our dentists don't even tell you this, is that fluoride is actually a toxin. It doesn't strengthen your teeth. It actually weakens your teeth in a phenomenon called fluorosis. Fluoride, where does it come from? It's actually a waste byproduct of the phosphate fertilizer industry and the aluminum manufacturing industry. Yes, folks, it's actually a waste byproduct. In fact, the people who are exposed to this waste byproduct of fluoride, sodium fluoride, they actually succumb to lifelong illnesses because they're exposed to it on a daily basis. Lung problems, joint problems. So fluoride doesn't actually strengthen your teeth, but it actually disrupts and damages your hormonal system. They did a 12-year test where they tested kids, like 300 kids in Mexico for a 12-year span. And they actually found out that the fluoride decreased the IQ of the children and also disrupted their pubertal growth at the same time in this 12-year study. So easy fix. With fluoride, with toothpaste, you just take sodium bicarbonate and coconut oil, mix them together, and voila, you have natural, safe, and effective toothpaste. Because you see, the coconut oil is a natural antibacterial, and the sodium bicarbonate also helps to clean out and scrub your teeth and your gums too. So very healthy. But another thing too is that a lot of the cereal aisles, a lot of the foods from the supermarket, for example, when you go to the cereal aisle, they're mostly made of GMO corn. That's very damaging to our health. So you gotta cut out any GMO products, soybeans, corn, wheat, those kinds of products. And also, when you go to the vegetable aisle, right, you have to be careful of certain foods. For example, beans, right? Beans are notorious for creating lots of food poisoning. Why is that? Beans contain a certain kind of gluten, actually a lectin. Gluten, lectin, they're basically the same. And they are defense mechanisms of plants because plants don't want to be eaten by us animals, right? By us humans and other animals. So if you improperly cook the beans, you'll get inflammation in your body. So it's really important to cook the beans properly. And how do you do that? You got to pressure cook the beans enough. So buy a pressure cooker. The beans and also the legumes are also high in lectins and also nightshades. You got to remove the skin and the seeds from nightshades. So that you got to control. In fact, a substantial amount of food poisoning in America and Western Europe happens from improperly cooked beans. In fact, you have this bean called the castor bean, and they actually make a bio weapon out of it called ricin. Yes, have you ever seen the movie The Rock with Sean Connery? Well, they used these missiles, and inside the missiles were ricin, and ricin comes from the castor bean. Also, the kidney bean. If you swallow 5 raw kidney beans, it actually clots your blood in a matter of minutes. So that's how dangerous beans are. That's why properly cooking beans with pressure cooking them is so important. And also, peanuts are so popular with people and cashews, but they're not nuts. They're not in the nuts family. Peanuts is actually a legume, and the cashew is actually a bean. So when they pick the cashews from the trees, the workers have to actually use gloves to remove the cashews because it's so caustic. The cashews are actually in the poison ivy family, right? So you got to cut out the peanut butter. I love peanuts myself, but you got to cut out the peanuts and the peanut butter because they're causing inflammation in your body. Substitute it with real nuts like pistachios, macadamias, pecans, just to name walnuts, just to name a few. That's very important. And the oils that you cook with, you gotta stick to non-inflammatory oils. For many, many years, I thought safflower, sunflower oil, canola oil were healthy alternatives, but they're loaded with pro-inflammatory omega-6s. So instead of those kinds of oils, just stick to olive oil, stick to butter. Butter is actually healthier than the other like margarines because margarines contain so much pro-inflammatory in the heart, especially. They contain a lot of omega-6s. So stick with ghee or butter and olive oil and coconut oil. And also avocado oil is also very good. So that's the supermarket aisle. When you go to the pharmacy, a lot of the things that doctors prescribe are really not healthy. For example, NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Yes, they relieve the pain in the short term, but what it actually does is it actually creates a bomb in your gut biome. It actually damages your gut biome. And antibiotics is even worse. Antibiotics just totally annihilates your gut biome. So you want to get rid of those. You see, our bodies can't assimilate with petrochemical medicines. It can't take it into our cells because what are our cells made of? What are we made of? We're made of enzymes, proteins, fats, and electrolytes and proteins, not petrochemicals. You ever try swallowing gasoline or petroleum jelly, Vaseline? We can't, we throw up, right? So, but, it's all about the money, unfortunately. So you got to cut those things out, and yeah, so those things, but also emotions. We live such a high stress lifestyle, and stress is actually promoting bad health as well because the mind and body connection is so strong. For example, the placebo effect. When patients are given a fake pill, some of them, a lot of them get better, So it's so important to channel your stresses in life and to deal with the skeletons in your closet. You have got to heal from past traumas. because not healing from them is so damaging to your health. You know, a lot of the illnesses like cancers and gut problems also comes from our bad emotions. You know, the state of our mindset is so key to our health. So that's very important, as well as in relationships. You know, you have got to distance yourself from toxic people who damage your emotional well-being. You've got to distance yourself from them, like family members, you know, like with my family members, I've had to do the same thing, you know, because they were not looking out for my mental well-being because they have their own needs as well, you know, they have their own traumas that they're dealing with. Unfortunately, they affect you, they affect your children, they affect your partner. So meditation, neuro-linguistic programming, and I recommend tapping. Emotional freedom technique is so regenerating the emotional process. It's so healing, you know. But in order for it to work, you have got to be very honest with yourself and write down all the events that happened in your life that affected you and help shape your subconscious and help shape your personality. So the food, the pharmacy, your emotional well-being, how happy or unhappy are you with your career, your relationship status, you know, all these things affect your health, you know. And so, yes, trying to maintain balance in our life is really, really tough, especially nowadays. So stick to the basics, go back to the very basics from nature, not from factories, not from pharmaceutical drug companies, right? And a lot of these things we were not educated in medicine. In medicine, we were only taught to push drugs, to push surgeries, push medical devices, and that's really about it. Because unfortunately, it's all about money for them as well, you know, and not about your best health. So that's what I had to deal with as well. That's what I had to confront as a doctor because I was hoping that I would be trained in real good health practices. Unfortunately, we were basically trained into just thinking one way, and that's the pharmaceutical way. And another thing is that you should be taking charge of your health. Don't let somebody else take charge of your health. Your doctor, we've been trained to just trust your doctor, and whatever they tell you, you just accept it 100%. That's really not in your best interest for your health because we are poorly educated on health, sad to say, sorry to say. So take charge of your health and just go back to nature so that you can begin to heal your chronic diseases, you know, because chronic diseases start slowly, takes decades upon decades to develop, right? From your gut problems to your heart problems, you know, it's all about letting things into your system that should not be there, you know, pro-inflammatory foods, factory foods, pro-inflammatory medicines that are only about money and profit. Just like big tobacco, big pharma is the same, you know, unfortunately. And so, like for example, if you know somebody who's dealing with cancer, right? Of course, the standard thing is take your chemotherapy, which is actually based on a lot of harmful chemicals, like from heavy metals like platinum to radiation, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and also platinum, also based on mustard plants, which are basically very toxic. They extract a lot of the chemotherapeutics from the mustard plant, as was derived originally from the Vietnam War. Chemotherapy, where it came from, was the Vietnam War. They actually realized by accident that these same bioweapons actually killed the cancer cells. But what they don't tell you, it also kills the healthy cell. This is why most people, a lot of people, are dying, not from the cancer, but from the chemotherapeutics. So what is cancer is your body is actually screaming for many decades, look, you're not giving me what I need. You know, these factory foods I don't like, these petrochemical medicines I don't like, your lifestyle I don't like, your stress levels I don't like. So They tried to repair themselves for many, many decades. Finally, they give up. And when they give up, they dysregulate. They grow uncontrollably and they lose their inherent function. That's what cancer is. Just your cells going cuckoo, going crazy. And in the process, they rob nutrients from the neighboring cells and organs. That's why you see cancer patients being very, very skinny, because the tumors actually rob all the nutrients from the patient's body, from the person's body. So they basically die of a low immune system and an emaciated, just shriveled up body. That's what cancer does. It just robs everything from your body, all the nutrients, all the blood supply, because the cells did not get what they needed for many, many decades. With breast and prostate cancers, a lot of the breast and prostate cancers happen because, again, the petrochemicals that we take in through the lotions, the cosmetics, they're made of petrochemicals. They get absorbed into our bloodstream through our skin. The products that have a lot of extra estrogen in it, for example, soy products, beer products, and also pesticides, they all disrupt our hormones. And our hormone system is disbalanced. And as a result, our breasts and our prostates, they're powered by the hormone system, right? But when you take in all these foods, the soy products, the pesticide-laden vegetables, the meats that have so much growth hormones and antibiotics in the meat as well, they're all disrupting our hormonal system, you know. And so as a result, prostate, they overgrow, they get bigger because of the excess estrogen in it. And the breast, they form tumors because of the extra estrogens from the pesticides, from the chemicals as well. From the fluoride is actually disrupting as well our hormonal system. So those things really do affect our health. And plus, if you're overweight, your fat cells generate as well their own estrogens. So when you're overweight, the fat cells generate extra estrogen that your body does not need. So you get extra estrogen from your fat, you get extra estrogen from food products like soy and beer products. And also you get these extra estrogen-like disruptors called xenoestrogens from petrochemical products and unnatural products. So all these things drive the prostate problems, the breast problems. And also with regards to the thyroid, many, many women are having thyroid issues where the thyroid regulates our body's metabolism. So when people have thyroid problems, their metabolism, their thyroid is not putting out enough thyroid hormones. So your metabolism is slowing down. As a result, you gain weight and you have low energy, and your skin also looks dry. So what's happening there is, again, because of the unwholesome things that we take in, our immune system starts attacking the thyroid. And what that does is it actually hurts the thyroid, our immune system does, because of the unwholesome things that we take in, from the medicines, the foods that we take in, it starts attacking the thyroid as well. So we have Hashimoto's, thyroiditis. And again, that's another example of what we're surrounded by in our external world and how we're letting these external toxins come in and cause disruptions and all over our organ, from our heart to our thyroid. Yeah. Speaking of heart, in heart issues, it's not the cholesterol. Again, it's not the cholesterol that's causing the heart block, the clogged arteries. It's not the cholesterol. Yes, many doctors tell you you must lower your cholesterol. You must take these statin medications for the cholesterol. But it's bullshit. What's happening really is that because you're not taking in more wholesome foods and taking in instead factory foods, taking in also medicines, All these things are causing inflammation everywhere, from your joints to your arteries in your heart. And when the arteries are swollen by, for example, omega-6 oils, omega-6 laden foods, you know, like margarines, like canola oil, safflower oil, and lots of trans fats, from Oreos. But oh my God, I love Oreos, but they have a lot of trans fats. So these pro-inflammatory things accumulate in our arteries. That's what's really causing the arterial problems, these pro-inflammatory things. The cholesterol is just coming in to the inflamed arteries and trying to heal it, because it's damaged. So the cholesterol is a secondary, just an innocent bystander. What you got to do is control the inflammation from your arteries. That way, you reverse the arterial problems that you have. You reverse the narrowing of your arteries by having a less and less inflammatory substances coming into your body. Again, it's easy. Just if you know a local farmer, you're better off going to the local farmer rather than your supermarket. It's much more healthy because you can ask the farmer how they grew the vegetables. They probably used normal organic poo. Well, there was a report many, many years ago, decades ago, in the 1950s, where the agricultural department in the US said that our soils are so devoid of nutrients because instead of using organic fertilizers, we use inorganic fertilizers. So basically, the soil is devoid of any nutrients. As a result, the foods that we take in our bodies are deficient in nutrients. This is why it's so crucial nowadays. Is another step is to take in supplements. This is the reason why taking supplements, but key supplements, not like your multivitamin, that's garbage. Okay. You got to take key supplements to supplement the lack in nutrients from the foods that we take in. This is why the supplement industry is booming, because we're so deficient in key vitamins like vitamin D, B12, folate, everything, A, E. And these vitamins keep our bodies from inflammation, like vitamin D, for example. And so, yeah. Anyway, so thank you. See you later.